Hey. Come on in. Yeah, no, you're fine. I wasn't expecting to see you up this late. Is everything okay? Oh, I see. You can't sleep? I'm sorry to hear that. Well, why don't you take a little lay down on the couch there? Yeah, I'm just writing some notes. Did you have a nightmare? No, we don't have to talk about it if you don't want. No, I was just curious. I wondered if maybe there was something I could do to help. Oh, this? These are just my notes for an idea that I had. I don't know about you, but my muse always seems to speak to me at around 3 in the morning. It's rather funny. But I just wanted to make sure I jotted these ideas down before I forget them. Yeah, a lot of my writing tends to come from dreams that I've had, and I usually try to write them down just in case I want to use them later on. Sometimes they seem better off in the dream than they do in my head. Or on paper, you know. But I like to write them down anyway because I think it's good to have a little area of writing that I can turn to. Maybe something a little less conventional. Oh, yeah, I gotta rest my wrist for a second. Have you read any good books lately? Oh, that's really good. Oh, I haven't heard of that one. Maybe I'll have to check it out sometime. don't usually go for sci-fi. I guess it's just not really my thing. But there are a few exceptions, you know. And fantasy, I enjoy fantasy in games, but I think in books sometimes it can be a bit harder to read. Especially if the author is using particularly flourished language. I know that's not the word for it, but I couldn't remember the actual word that I wanted. My favorite? I love a good mystery. A good mystery is going to pull me in and keep me invested for quite some time. However, if they are an author of a series, and they leave it on a cliffhanger, that is the worst feeling. Oh, I know. I'm just not really the patient type, I think. Oh yeah, it's much harder for me to get into a book these days. You know, I don't actually remember the last time I read a book, now that you mention it. I spend a lot of my time online these days, and I do think that it's somewhat dimmed my ability to be more imaginative. Well, it's just so easy and so accessible. And no, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with enjoying a good scroll through social media, but there is something about interacting with the world on an analog level. You know, really being able to use your hands and feel something. Sort of the same way that, Kindle just doesn't really have the same feeling as a book. You know, you open the book and you can feel the pages just fluttering through your fingers, and maybe it's got a new book smell. Or maybe it's got an old book smell. And it kind of reminds you of like a book cafe. Or maybe a hole-in-the-wall bookstore. I think there's quite a lot to be said for the beauty of books, you know. I used to be an avid reader, actually. My favorite memories always involved coming home from a long day of school. And then I'd go to my room and I'd tuck my favorite book. I'd tuck into my bed with my favorite book, and I'd get all comfy. And then I really enjoyed reading, and I just got lost in the world. And then I would fall asleep and take a nice long nap as the sun shone through my window. Yeah, I think everybody deserves to have some sort of memory like that one. Something comfortable, you know. Makes you feel safe. I think books are a great way to escape reality for a little bit. Yeah, well, going back to the social media example, I can scroll all I want through a bunch of videos of cute puppies and other adorable animals, but at some point I'm going to come across a video that hits a little too close to home, or maybe reminds me of things that I'd rather not remember. But with a book, you can really just enjoy the story. Oh, and that's not to say that all books are perfect. In fact, I know there are quite a few books that are not exactly meant to be read in public spaces. do think writing and having that ability to tell stories is so crucial to our ability to imagine and to our creativity, you know. Our way of seeing the world. And you never know who your writing is going to resonate with. Oh, if you ever wrote poems or anything like that, if you wrote little excerpts and things, I'd love a chance to read them. Well, if you're worried they're not good, then that's okay. I think that anyone can write. I think the trick is that not everyone can write well. And that doesn't mean that they're not able to be writers. It just means that they might need a little more help or a little more practice. And it's a skill like anything else. And hopefully with time, you or whoever else wants to write will be able to come to realize that you've made it further than you realized. Yeah. I've got eraser shavings all over my paper. You know how that happens, and you just don't realize that that's what's happened. Yeah, I thought I'd try writing my thoughts down via pencil and paper. Well, again, I think there's a certain enjoyment that comes from being able to sort of go back to your roots. Plus, if I write it on paper, then I do not have to worry about having a laptop or a Google document and wondering if I'm going to have access to Wi-Fi or if my battery is going to die. Yeah, so sometimes it can be nice. Yeah, I think I've nearly gotten the idea out. But capturing that feeling or that experience that you have when you dream can be quite difficult. Because often dreams don't make a whole lot of sense. But maybe that's why we get all that creativity. So early in the morning. Maybe our conscious, logical mind decides that it's a bit tired and it wants to go to sleep. And so it hands over the reins to our creative functions. And we're a little less tethered than we might otherwise be. Yeah. I have to say though, it's been really nice getting to tell you about this. I don't often get to share the inner world that I have with a lot of people. And, not everyone's interested in writing. So sometimes it can be really intimidating for them. I'm really glad you're here. In some ways, I think you've helped me figure out what I needed to do. Or what I wanted to write a little bit more. I think that'll do it. That's perfect. You want to read it? Sure. Why don't we go get comfortable? And maybe you can read it as you fall back asleep. And hopefully you'll have good dreams. Sounds good.